Welcome to Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast. Today, our topic is why real estate?
Welcome to the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast with Scott Whitwam, your blueprint to financial abundance. Settle in as we explore the mindset and methods for wealth building through real estate.
All right, welcome back. Today, we're talking about why real estate. And I think the first thing that we need to talk about is that real estate has a function, or it is something that not every investment is, and that is it's a tangible asset. With real estate, you can literally lay your hands on it. You can walk out to a property, you can open the door, you can go up the elevator, whatever the case may be. Real estate is a tangible asset. Where stocks and bonds, you do get a piece of paper, but they're really not the asset. The asset is what they represent. So real estate gives you that sense of reality, that you actually own something, and that something's going to be there. So for instance, if you buy a stock and the company goes bankrupt, your stock, your piece of paper that you're holding, can be worth nothing. If a real estate market, will say, crashes, there's never been a time real estate's been worth zero, but let's just say the real estate market crashed to zero, you can still walk out on that property and it's yours. You got the title to it. You may not be able to sell it, but thankfully, we've never run into that. Real estate has a track record and history of appreciation, but I love real estate because it's a tangible asset, and it doesn't matter whether or not we're talking about multifamily, the apartment buildings, whether we're talking about just buy and hold residential or flip properties, any of these type of things, the asset is tangible. It's really nice. I like dealing with stuff that you can lay your hands on. Gold's that way. Things that you can lay your hands on. Even land, you go out, there's no house on it, but the land is there. And they're not making any more of it, right? But you own it, it's tangible, you can put your feet on it, and it gives you the assurance that is yours. Now, the other nice thing about real estate, because of the asset class it's something that we can leverage. That's a cool word that literally means that we can use very little of our money in order to acquire a much bigger piece, just like a fulcrum. You got a big rock, but you're little, so you get a fulcrum, and you can use leverage in order to lift the rock. Well, that's how we lift real estate. We lift it by leverage. I may have a small quantity of money, but I've got to acquire a very valuable or expensive piece of real estate, and then we can use leverage to do that. Leverage comes in many different forms and many different quantities. A traditional buyer may leverage 80% of the purchase price by putting 20% down. And they have to bring in 20% in order to acquire that. And leverage can be a good thing like that, because you can obviously get more. Because if our system was that you had to pay cash, and the average price of a home is $500,000 or $1 million, you really have a long time that you have to save before you would be able to purchase. But through leverage, we can acquire property. Now, for the investor, there's all kinds of different ways to leverage. We can leverage with other people's money. We can leverage with our own money. We can leverage with banks. We can leverage with private investors. I enjoy leveraging as much as I can when it comes to investment properties. Some people believe in the 80-20 rule. You should always put at least 20% down and then leverage 80. But if you're an investor, you're going to find that a lot of times private money in those are going to require you to put 30, 40, and 50% down, especially if you're doing commercial investing. They want much more leverage or much more of your asset in order to leverage a smaller amount of money. But I have gotten to the point where most of the real estate transactions I get involved in, I try to leverage 100%. And I don't know anything else that I can buy or I can leverage like that. Now, every now and then, you'll find an auto manufacturer that'll provide 100% financing for their vehicles, and you can 100% leverage it. But it's a depreciating asset. Your car is worth less money the day you drive it off of the lot. With real estate, it's different. And if I can leverage a property 100%, then somebody else has 100% of the risk and the investment in the property, and I've got additional capital available then maybe to leverage another project. So again, I love leverage in real estate transactions. The other thing about real estate that is so, I guess, unique is that there's so many different options. An investor isn't stuck with doing, just one thing. An investor has, decisions to make. Do I want to be involved in commercial real estate? Or do I want to be involved in residential real estate? Do I want to do just land? Do I just want to buy and subdivide land? Do I want to, purchase agricultural property? What about forest land? I mean, and then you got your single family residences, and you got multifamily, and all these different things. And then in addition to the different classifications of real estate, you can do many different things with them. So you can buy and hold. So you actually acquire something and you hold it, and you generate revenue then by leasing, renting the property out. Or you can flip the property. You can buy properties that need rehabilitation, and you can rehab them, and then you can put them on the market and sell those. You can do a combination of those. You can also wholesale them. You can sell properties you don't even own, and that you may never see in places that you've never been. And so you can do that with real estate. The other thing you can do is you can actually involved in real estate investment trusts, where a group of you syndicate together in order to acquire real estate, and somebody else would be an active partner, and you may be a silent partner. I mean, there's so many different opportunities in real estate that it makes it a really exciting field, because no matter what your experience level is, especially if you're a beginner, but no matter what your experience level is, you can find some new, innovative, area of real estate to be involved in. So, again, I love the fact that in real estate, there's so many different investing options. The other thing is it's a great way to build long-term wealth. Long-term wealth, I hear people all the time, well, I'm working hard, I'm saving for retirement because, when I get to be 65, 70, 75 years, I'm going to retire, and then I'm going to get Social Security, and I'm going to get this pension, and I'll have my retirement, and life will be really good. Well, the reality is real estate can be a hedge against inflation. Real estate can build long-term wealth because it historically has always appreciated. And if you purchase real estate in a buy and hold environment, you can get your tenants and stuff to actually pay the real estate off for you. So they actually pay off your loans. You acquire the property, or you can invest like in forest land. And as the trees grow, when it's time, you can sell off the land to a forest company, and the appreciation, the long-term wealth built in the appreciation of the good, or the different products that are grown on the land, the implements, become an asset to you. It's long-term wealth building. And that's one of the things I like about real estate. So, there are some short-term things you can do. Certainly the flippers are doing that. They're building short-term income. They're buying a house for X, and then they're selling the house for X, and they're taking that profit right now. But most of my friends, like who are involved in home flipping, we also purchase long-term assets, rental properties. So it's a good way to build for your later years in life. The other thing that's really awesome about it is, it can create income generation for you. Real estate properties can be an ongoing source of residual income for you. And again, in that process, other people are paying off the properties for you. So it's a great way to generate income. And whether you do it in the commercial sector, whether you do it in the residential sector, you can do it through lease options. So we've done that before. We've bought properties, fixed them up, and then sold them on lease options, and we're generating income on the lease portion, but we're giving the person who's leasing it the option of purchasing the property at a date-specific time. So again, income generation with real estate is a great reason to be involved in real estate. The other thing is there's some tremendous tax benefits. A lot of people don't realize the tax benefits in real estate, but if you're doing buy and hold, you've got depreciation, so you have a way to help shield against the incomes that are being earned. The money that you put into the property in many cases can be deductible. Obviously, check with your CPA. But there's some great tax benefits in being involved in real estate. Think about this. Let's say that you bought a property, 10 years ago for $100,000, and now it's worth $400,000, and you've been renting it out, generating rental income. And you want to sell this property. When you sell this property, it's going to have a capital gain. That's the difference between what you purchased it for and what you sold it for. And there's going to be tax on the capital gain as a long-term capital gain. But there are some tax benefits that if you do something that's called a 1031 exchange, I'm not going to get into all that today, but if you use a 1031 exchange, you can sell that property and earn that profit and then reinvest those funds into other real estate tax deferred. And so, it's another great way of hedging yourself against taxes, a great tax benefit for real estate. Another reason why I love real estate as our investment tool. Another why for real estate, I guess you'd say. And then the last thing I want to talk about is legacy building. If you have kids or family members, and your thought is, I'm going to have my retirement and leave that for my spouse or my kids, and I've saved some gold, I've got some stocks and some bonds, I'm going to leave that as an inheritance. I got the house that I'm living in, I'm going to leave that as an inheritance. Real estate is a great way to build legacy, because not only are you passing on an asset to your children, but it's an asset that can continue to appreciate, continue to produce income, and continue to have tax benefits for your heirs. So I like it as a legacy building tool. One of the things I like as an investor myself is, over the years, I've actually been able to pass on some of my legacy, some things, instead of leaving them behind for my kids. I've actually been able to help my kids take advantage of some of their inheritance early, and huge tax benefits for me, and gave them the opportunity to start down the wealth building road. So when people ask me, well, why real estate? Here's some of the reasons that we talked about. We just talked about the fact it's a tangible asset, leverage. There's so many different options. It's long-term wealth building, income generation, tax benefits, and legacy building. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast today.